Yo, Bachi 2007 back at you with another one. And we're about to get into some rank foolishness. Some intersectional feminist, fourth wave, fifth wave feminist lies. Let's hear what this young lady has to say, and we'll give some commentary.
I think part of the reason why it seems like dating is just so impossibly hard these days is because when you think about it, we're really trying to do something that's like never been done. Like, for the most part, most of us have parents and grandparents and great grandparents who got married out of necessity. They got married. Your grandma got married because she really didn't have too much of a choice. She couldn't get a good job on her own. She couldn't give her own bank account. She couldn't have her own car. She needed that man. And your granddaddy got married because he was told that's what he was supposed to do because he had to have kids. And he didn't know how to scrub a toilet to save his life. And he also can't cook. He's never touched an oven before. The man didn't know what else to do.
Absolute lies and complete and utter nonsense. We are doing something new. She's right about that, but it's not. She's not right about what the new is. So to get to it, all this crap she just said, a man doesn't know how to scrub a toilet? What in the hell are you talking about? You just sound like an idiot. Are you really trying to tell me a person who is of the male gender doesn't know, is not capable of scrubbing a toilet, and you need a woman to scrub a toilet? Does any human being actually believe that? First of all, just does that even make any sense? But second of all, let's look at actual factual reality. Most men outside of the home have always done janitorial and cleaning jobs. So men have always scrubbed toilets since men invented toilets. All right. Men don't know how to cook, didn't know what to do. Men cook. Most men have always cooked. My grandfather, from out in the backwoods of Alabama, who married my grandmother when he was 20 and she was 15, knew how to cook. He cooked just fine. Yes, she was the main cook in the house while he was the main person who worked. She also did work throughout the marriage. She also raised 6 kids and maybe only worked part time doing some parts of the doing the children's lives. She didn't work at all at other times. And he worked 2 jobs most of the time. He was actually a preacher, so that was like one job. And then he worked as a janitor for the Montgomery, Alabama library system. At least that was his last 20, 30 years of his career. And he got retirement out of that and all that sort of stuff to provide for his family. But yeah, so he scrubbed toilets for a living. So this is lies. So let's take a break from these lies for a moment to let the algorithm know that you rock with this content. Go ahead and stop and just take a moment. Like me up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you can know about what's going on here. And likewise, hit the notification so that you're notified of the next video. Thanks. I really appreciate it. Back to the program. This is the man I'm talking about who was born in about 1928. Yeah, I believe that's, well, maybe before. No, he had to be older than that. My dad was born in 48. So he was probably born in the 19 teens. And he could scrub toilets and cook. So this is absolute nonsense. The part where it's true that they are trying to do something new, what the new is uh brain dead feminists like her, self-absorbed, extremely selfish, extremely misandrous feminists like her are trying to create a relationship dynamic where men must stick to providing all of the old and traditional ways to women, along with be their homegirl and their girlfriend and provide all this emotionalism and be their emotional safe space that she's about to talk about and do all this stuff, the new stuff, along with having to maintain everything that they did before, while women get to do the exact opposite. They don't have to do anything. They're not to provide anything in a relationship that they've always provided. They're not to cook and clean. You got 2 feet. You can get up and get your own food. Cooking and cleaning a home that they live in, or cooking for a man. That's slavery. That's unpaid labor. They don't nurture their families. They don't want to have kids. Maybe only one, because kids are expensive and they take away from my life. And I want to be able to do what I want to do and have fun and blah 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 blah. So men have to do everything they've always done, plus more, And women don't have to do anything they've done. And also at the same time, if that's not happening, women are the victims in this scenario where they get way more for doing way, way less. That's the new. It's not what she's claiming is new.
Or they messed around and got pregnant, so they had to get married because of that. But either way you spin it, getting married because I love you and you love me is it's kind of new.
It's kind of a lie. You're just a lie. Everything she says is ahistorical. This type of stuff that these women are saying is a false narrative. Women have not been beaten by their husbands throughout all time. Like they try to make it out to be, oh, women should get all these special privileges now because men have been abusing and beating women and oppressing women for eons. So now men should just have bad things happen to them and it's okay, and women should treat men like crap because somehow what another man 50, 60, 70 years ago did to another woman entitles you to do something harmful to me that has nothing to do with either one of us. But the reality of it didn't even happen. Mr. in Color Purple is fiction. That's why they didn't do a real story. That's why it's a made up story. If that was always really happening, you could have went and picked a real story to tell for The Color Purple. Yes, some men hit some women. Also, women hit men. They always have, and as they do to this day. Uh, and yes, there were some laws in place and things where police didn't protect women in marriages the way they should have, and there's some small percentage, but the vast majority of households there was no rampant abuse of women. This is not some blanket panacea of how women have been treated. Further, since the 60s, women have been having children out of wedlock and not getting married. Um, Women have been in the workforce in substantial numbers since World War II. That's what started women into the workforce in large degrees. And Black America women have always been in the workforce since the plantation. There's never been a time in history where women got to just stay at home and not have to work in mass. And never. It has never been a thing. Before the plantation, back in Africa, women did not get to just sit at home and do nothing all day while the men went out and hunt. They had to gather. They had to boil dyes and boil different elements to make dyes, to dye the clothes the different colors. That didn't just show up. There were no manufacturing plants. The women did that. They had to cook the food. They had to rear the children. They have always had to do work. The men did the more dangerous and physically burdensome work as far as building and going out and hunting, dealing with tools and dealing with wild animals. But the women have always had to carry their part of it. There's never been any time of existence where women just got to lay around and do nothing. These are ahistorical lies. These are false feminist narratives, and we should stop. The main problem is men, in large part, respond to these narratives as if they're true, and then try to make some kind of explanation for why. Well, okay, but it's not okay, but it's a lie. And this is what you guys have to understand. This is all cope, and this is all cap. This is just women trying to get an advantage. They do not want equality. They want women's supremacy. And this is all justificational bullcrap for their supremacy. They want supremacy in relationships, not only to have the dominant position, but they want to create a construct where you, as the man, have to not only do all the financial burden of providing, the physical burden of repairing and lawn work and all the hard stuff, but you have to carry all of the emotional burden in the relationship. You have to bring everything, and she has to bring nothing. She just is there, and you exist just to fulfill her needs and desires while she doesn't have to do anything for you. That's the construct this woman and these modern women, these feminists, are trying to put together, and you all should not let them get away with it. by accepting their premises, because the premises that they're putting forth in these narratives are just lies.
Now society has evolved, it's changing. We don't want to get married to people that we don't like anymore. Now we want to be in love.
Never did. Love is not some new concept. Never did. This is nonsense. This is nonsense.
But we also, at least nowadays, more and more women also want to keep some aspects of the old paradigm because, yes, we do want you to be a provider, but you also.
Exactly. That's what they want. They want to keep aspects of it because of what they want you. You know, because we want you. They want the old paradigm that says you, the man, have to bring something to the table, but she, the woman, doesn't have to do any of the old paradigm. She doesn't have to cook for you. She doesn't have to clean for you. She doesn't have to provide a home for you. She doesn't have to provide peace for you. She doesn't have to nurture the family. Her role as the nurturer, which means cooking, which means providing her feminine energy, providing a soft space for you and the children. She doesn't want to do any of that. But you've got to do all of the same old stuff while they're in the workforce making money. And then they're supposed to come home and you're supposed to spend all your money on them. And they keep all their money just to do stuff they enjoy. And then they leave you and still want half of your money when they've been able to save all their money all this time and spent up yours. And they somehow think this is the fact that they want this for you, that they want you to have to bang your head against the wall in an economy that almost requires two incomes in order for a household to make it. They want to see you buried under as if the economy of today is the same as it was 60, 70 years ago. And they that's what they want for you as their man. This tells you what a woman really feels about you. These kind of women feel nothing. They are they are monsters, basically.
So have to be a good partner. They've never had to do that before.
They don't want to keep any aspect of the old paradigm when it comes to what women are supposed to do in traditional relationships.
Man, this is some bullshit.
See why dating sucks? Okay.
Men in the dating pool are the sons and the grandsons and the nephews of the men that I was just talking about. So they've grown up watching relationships where the man was barely.
And it's all the daughters of the rancid hyenas from the 70s who were in through the 60s. Black women were married by age of 25, 26, whatever it was, at a rate of 90 something percent. They were the most married women in America. The most, more than white women, more than Asian, the most, the number one married women percentage wise were black women. Now they're the least married because of the rancid females who were beguiled by white feminism, which is white women's version of of white supremacy. White feminism is white women's white supremacy because feminism was just white women arguing with white men over the spoils of oppression, over the spoils of war. They wanted their piece of the oppression pie that they weren't getting. That's all feminism has ever been. And these doofuses looked at white women and then applied white women's problems with white men to black men. And then the white man beguiled them just like the serpent in the garden and said, here's your welfare check. Get your man out the house. Blame black man for everything. Throw the man out. Create your own woman-led society. It's now called the hood. It's the most horrible place on the world. This is what happens when women get to be in charge of stuff. It's not theoretical. We have 70 years of demonstration of women-led society, and it's led to the absolute destruction of black people. I'm not listening anymore. We're done with this. Utter and complete foolishness. Go ahead and hit me up. Like, subscribe, notification bell, and we'll get back at it with the next one. Your Bocce 2007. We're keeping men's mind state right over here. Like me up and catch you on the next one. Peace.